Hello, and welcome to an overview of the student visa process for international students. One of our major frequently asked questions is, how do I obtain a student visa? This session will overview the next steps for international students requiring an F1 visa to study in the US. If you have questions about your specific visa situation, you can reach out to our office after viewing the presentation. I will be your presenter. My name is Laurel Root, and I'm the Director of Recruitment and Admissions at the School of Law. If you have any questions after viewing this overview, please do feel free to reach out to me via email. My contact information is listed here on the slide. There are several steps that you will need to take to secure your admission once you are accepted. Our accepted students page is the go-to place to stay on track with next steps. It is also imperative to pay attention to email that we send to you, including checking your new UB email account regularly for communications, both from the School of Law and the Office of International Student Services. As mentioned, there are several steps that you will need to take to secure your admission once you are accepted. This is just one important part of your post-admissions timeline. You can refer back to this timeline on our accepted students page on our website. The tuition deposit deadline also includes the deadline for documents required to issue your I-20. If you applied before our March 1st priority application deadline, you will likely have an April 15th deadline for these next steps. If you applied and were admitted later, your specific deadline will be listed in your acceptance letter, so do pay attention to that specific date. The next steps for confirming your enrollment are: 1, paying the $400 tuition deposit, which is applied to your tuition bill when you enroll, and 2, submitting the immigration and financial documents that are required to receive your I-20. This documentation entails the International Applicant Financial Form, financial documentation, and if needed, the SEVIS transfer form. This only applies to students that are currently studying in the US on F1 visas. To get you started on these steps, you will receive an email from the School of Law with instructions on how to access the portal. We will review the financial form and financial documentation in detail during the rest of this presentation. Why do you have to submit the International Applicant Financial Form? In short, you need to show that you have the funds for the first year of study before the university can issue your I-20. You must follow all instructions to properly fill out the form, and you must show the full amount detailed in the estimated total. A question we are frequently asked about living expenses is, I'm staying with family in Buffalo. Why do I need to show the full amount for room and board if that's not what I'm actually paying? This is mandated by the US government in order to issue your I-20. This estimated total does not mean that you will end up paying this amount for room and board, but each person applying for a student visa is required to show the ability to cover all estimated expenses as outlined by the university. The total for fall 2022 incoming students is $52,980. That is for the JD and LLM programs. On the right, you will see a screenshot of the financial form. We'll talk about that a bit in the next slide. The form itself is self-explanatory. It does detail the types of acceptable financial documents. Please do check the financial form for full information regarding acceptable forms of financial documentation. If your documents do not meet the minimum requirements, your file will be placed on hold until acceptable materials are received. This will delay issuing your I-20. As mentioned here, all documents must be on official letterhead and dated within 1 year of the anticipated start of study. A frequently asked question we are asked is, do I have to use this specific account from my financial documentation to pay my expenses? The answer is no, you do not have to pay from that specific account. You can pay your tuition bill however you wish. In part 2 of the form, you'll find the breakdown of how to enter funding sources. This is also self-explanatory. You will fill it out based on your individual situation. Here's an example of a student with a $10,000 merit scholarship from UB Law. They will pay from their personal account for the remaining balance. The total must add up to $52,980, which, as you can see, it does here. As I mentioned, the link for the portal and your login information will be sent to you via email. Once you submit all required documents via the portal, IA, International Admissions, will review and process your documents. This can take several weeks depending on their workload, to keep that in mind, depending on the time of semester for them. International admissions will email you when your I-20 has been issued, and at that time you can download it in the portal. Then at that point, and only at that point, once you have your I-20 and your CVIS number, you can schedule your student visa interview. For assistance with the student visa process, you can check out Education USA's resources online, and their website is listed here on the slide. That concludes our brief overview of the I-20 process. Please contact me if you have any questions. My contact information is listed here on the slide. Thank you.